Hi, I'm Jérémy.
And I'm Ben.
Together we are 15 degrees north.
Today we're going to show you the sights and sounds of Morocco.
Marrakesh is the tourism capital of Morocco, and it's easy to see why.
We came directly from our tour of the north, but it's clear that the real highlights of this country are in the south. We're in Marrakesh, the sun is shining.
Let's go and visit.
Marrakesh is all about its souks. Its historic old town is a sprawling medina centred around the famous Jemaa el-Fna square, which is officially the busiest square in Africa, as well as one of the largest.
This is where you'll start to find the market traders are really not shy about approaching passers-by.
We learnt quickly that you need to be firm, and firmest of all with snake charmers on the square.
For you to take photos, you will need to pay them, and it's not cheap. They're likely to try and extort a lot of money from you, so just be careful, be firm, and if they come towards you with a snake in their hands,
walk away fast, as they're going to try and put it around your neck and not remove it until you pay them.
We're not trying to scare you here, but this is what we heard could happen, is exactly what happened to us.
Spreading in all directions from the square are the souks.
Here you will find a vast array of local goods, including spices, jewelry, clothing, art, souvenirs, leather, and plenty of sweet treats.
The city of Marrakesh was founded in 1070 and was the imperial capital of the Almoravid Empire.
The city walls were built in the 12th century, and these, like much of the city, are built of the red sandstone that has given Marrakesh the nickname of the Red City.
Historically, Marrakesh has been one of the biggest trading centres of the Maghreb. It regularly passed the title of capital back and forth with Fez before the country was split under the protectorates of France and Spain, with Fez being the capital of the Spanish and Marrakesh of the French.
When Morocco became independent in 1956, the title was passed to Rabat, but Marrakesh remained an imperial city and, as probably its prettiest city, the tourism hotspot of Morocco.
Awash with gorgeous architecture and artistry, people flock from far and wide to sample a slice of the glamorous Moroccan lifestyle.
In most of Morocco's key landmarks, it's far more about the interiors rather than the exteriors of the buildings.
This is the same in mosques, madrasas, palaces, and all the key landmarks, coming from the ancient Arabic tradition that displays of wealth should not be flaunted out on the street.
The Saadian Tombs are a perfect example of this.
The royal necropolis of the sultans of the Saadian dynasty, who ruled during the 16th and 17th centuries, the complex is regarded by art historians as the high point of Moroccan architecture due to its luxurious decoration. And then in the 20th century, high fashion came to Morocco in the shape of the world-famous couturier Yves Saint Laurent.
The French-Algerian fashion designer bought this villa in Marrakesh, and developed this remarkable modern evolution of Moroccan style.
This is what happens when a person has a lot of money and a tremendous amount of taste.
He lived here for decades with his partner Pierre Berger, and following his death in 2008, his ashes were scattered here too.
Today, the complex is open to the public, as is the Yves Saint Laurent Museum nearby, but our advice to you is to book your tickets online and book them early.
The most sought after attraction in the city, it is booked up weeks in advance, so you'll want to book your slot even before you arrived in the country.
Make sure you head out at night too, because the Jemaa el-Fna square really does come alive after dark.
Having visited many Arabic countries now, it does seem to be that to get a real authentic taste of what it's like to live and socialize like a local, you have to experience it after the sun has set. From Marrakech, we head on to the open road, heading inland towards the Sahara and across the Atlas Mountains.
The tallest mountain range in Africa, these mountains are the reason the desert exists, catching all of the rain rolling in from the Atlantic and leaving none for the rest of continental North Africa.
The mountains are also the reason we had one of our scariest experiences with a hire car ever.
Well, we made it across the Atlas Mountains and arrived here in Aït Benhaddou. The journey was an experience.
Eventful.
I mean, it was our own fault for not filling up with petrol before we started going over the top of the mountains.
Yes.
But yeah, we got right down to the bottom of the tank with it whole beeping at us and flashing at us. But we did manage to get across in the end. But whew, what a journey.
A must visit on your way to the Sahara is the ancient town of Aït Benhaddou.
If you think that the town looks remarkably authentic and untouched since ancient times, then you're not the only one, because Hollywood location scouts have thought the same too.
For decades, this town has been home to film shoots for Gladiator, Game of Thrones, Kingdom of Heaven, The Mummy, Alexander, and even Lawrence of Arabia in the 60s.
We're going to have a quick quiz to help our listeners at home. I'm going to say the word and I need you to give me the definition, okay? Starting with Medina.
Old Town.
Correct. Casbah.
Old Fortress.
Correct. Riyadh.
Like an old house. What a house. With a pool inside.
Yeah, okay. Madrasa.
University.
Souk.
Market.
All correct. Well done.
Can tell I'm Tunisian. Partly.
Ouarzazate is a desert stronghold famous in France for its remoteness.
Just like how Brits associate Timbuktu has been synonymous with the middle of nowhere, Ouarzazate is the same for the French.
Established as an outpost for the French Foreign Legion, its stunning Casbah has been recently restored and is fascinating to look around.
As you'll see shortly, we saw many Casbahs on our trip east in varying states of repair, but this one was a very fine example of these historic buildings that litter the countryside.
Though the Sahara is our destination, the road trip itself was absolutely stunning, and we found ourselves having to stop to take photos every 30 minutes.
Casbahs, palm groves, oases, and mountain passes made for one of the world's best drives, and the roads were really good too.
Make sure to head up some of the valleys too. They take you slightly off route, but the gorges are definitely worth seeing.
Well, you might even say they're gorgeous.
You might indeed. And then, eventually, the Sahara is in sight.
Merzouga is the end of the road before you have to swap your vehicle for a 4x4 and head out into the dunes that form the border with Algeria.
And the distinctive red sand rolls for mile after mile far off into the distance.
Welcome to the Sahara.
The Sahara Desert is the world's largest, covering 9.2 million square kilometers.
From Morocco in the west, it crosses all of North Africa, ending in Egypt and then the Sudan in the east.
With very little rainfall whatsoever, barely anything can grow here at all.
In fact, our guide told us that he had been there 3 whole years since a single drop of rain had fallen here.
Rolling dunes are known as sand seas, and contrary to popular belief, these only cover a small portion of the Sahara.
The world's highest daily average temperature was recorded here, soaring to 47 degrees Celsius, matched only by the Death Valley in the US.
The Moroccan edge of the Sahara has become quite the tourist attraction, with people from all over the world flocking to stay in one of its many desert camps, just like we did.
We were a little worried it would feel full of people, but with a desert this large, it's very easy to be just by yourself here.
And in the camps, there's plenty to do at night too, whether that's dancing around the campfire or just gazing at the most stars you'll have ever seen in your life. The next day, after watching the sunrise, we took a tour beyond the dunes to see the Saharan interior.
With its dry and arid rocky landscape, this is the home of the nomadic Berber people, who have developed ways of finding the precious water around which their whole life revolves.
As you can see, the ancient tradition of using a divining rod led me directly to water.
So did your eyes, you idiot.
We were then taken to a Berber village so that we could see how the people live there.
Each tent functions like a different room. Sleeping quarters are separate from the dining room, and each is made from a different material most suited to their function.
And of course, there are the animals too, with goats providing food and camels providing transport.
While we love the entirety of our trip to Morocco, Marrakech and the Sahara were absolutely the highlight.
If you're coming to the country, don't just stay in its cities. Make sure to head out into the countryside too, and definitely witness the thrilling vastness of the Sahara.
Thanks for watching.
Be sure to like, share and subscribe.
And follow us on Instagram at 15 Degrees North.
Make sure to tune in to our next video to see where in the world we end up next.
See ya.
Bye!